No, you may begin.
Hi, we're the Freezing Fiesta group, and my name is Logan Torres.
I'm Adela Black.
I'm Alondra Bolinas.
And I'm Woodcard. So our idea was to raise school spirit, and we wanted to have a place where all Laker students could get together and just have a good time. And we wanted to pay a lot of money to enjoy themselves, and we wanted to have free food, free games, and all that kind of stuff, so they could just enjoy themselves.
So our goal was to make an event where it wasn't just for kids who like sports or music or art. It was something that didn't matter what you like, you could all come together and kind of, like, in a way, it raised school spirit because it get people together and kind of like, hopefully, just get people to mingle, and it doesn't just have to be the people who are in sports and arts or like connecting to each other. So to build more of a bond between our student class. Our experience was a lot more difficult than we thought to plan a dance, and we give so much credit to everybody who planned all summer from one from. It was really hard because we didn't sell any tickets because we wanted it all to be free so that more people would want to come. But we had to kind of roughly estimate how much stuff we would need, and that was very difficult. And then later on we'll explain how we funded it. We had a few ideas that didn't go through, but in the end we decided to design a shirt and sell it. Well, it was screen printing, so we had to have a minimum of 72 shirts. And when we got that, we were like, oh sure, 72 shirts, it'll be fine. And it wasn't very fine. We didn't meet the 72 shirts, so we had to have some financial help from the school and Mrs. Faust's organization that she runs. And in the end, it worked out, but it was very difficult, and we definitely learned that some things don't work out as we planned them.
And we're teenagers, so we obviously use social media to our advantage. With one tweet alone, we were able to reach over 500 people due to followers and people that saw my tweet. That when they got retweeted, other people that weren't following me viewed my tweet. Also, many people tweeted the exact same thing I tweeted, so it was able to spread that way. And with posters and decorative artwork that Ms. Gus helped us out with, we were able to show these around the school and stuff. And it's safe to assume that the whole school population has seen or probably seen our dance or those kind of advertisements and stuff.
Yeah, and then due to all of these, even the people who didn't go, they're all saying, oh, I wish it was gone.
And on Snapchat, we had lots of people Snapchat to their friends, add to their stories, and it spread that way too. And these are pictures posted by Logan Torres. You can talk about them if you'd like.
Yeah, so what we did here is I took these pictures at the dance, during the process of setting them up, to spread the word about the dance before it even happened. So I posted them to what's called a Snapchat story, and if you guys don't know anything about Snapchat, a Snapchat story is able to be seen by multiple people at one time, instead of having to send it to individual people. So what that allows for is it allows for people to view our snaps multiple times, and to screenshot it, or take their own snaps, and get the word out that way. And so I reached approximately 40 people doing just that. And so our process began without even Alondra and I being in the group. It originally started as Emad and Luke, and they had the idea of something with the Ark Animal Shelter. And to me it sounded kind of cheesy, and I was just like, well, I have this idea for a school dance. And I knew that I couldn't do it by myself, so with some smooth talking, I got them to allow me to recruit them into my group. And so from there, we was birthed the idea of the Fall Fiesta. And then Alondra along the way was brought in because every group needs a woman's touch. So,
That's my argument, that's how I met him.
so we ended up coming up with the Fall Fiesta, which got moved to the Snow Ball. And it was, we originally planned to have the a color run be part of that, but because the color run was too expensive and we wouldn't have enough time to plan it, we had to move along. We had to drop that because we just didn't have enough time. I mean, we were planning this for October 17th, and in order to have this Fall Fiesta, we were going to have to move things along. And a color run we thought might be a good idea because it's happened before here. Like, we know it works, we know it raises money, but we just couldn't come up with the funds that quick. So what we ended up doing is coming up with the idea to sell Laker shirts, spirit wear. And in my mind, this was a novel concept. We had never had, or I'd never been exposed to any senior project groups doing this, with the exclusion of one of my classmates. And so we were like, if we sell these to students at Lakeland, then we're not only gonna be spreading school spirit, but we're gonna be able to raise that money that we need for our school dance. And so it was also very cost effective because they were cheap enough that we could do that.
Alright, and me and Alondra went to Warehouse Designs to check t-shirt costs, and we found out because they're screen printing that we had to get 72 t-shirts in an order, and to do that we figured out the cost of all the food and games we're gonna have, and that's how we figured out how much we're gonna sell t-shirts for.
Which was $10 each, and then it ended up covering all our costs after we got the donation from Mrs. Faust's organization.
It's not an easy process though.
No, and we also came to the conflict of we didn't know we had to fill out a paper to have a fundraiser at school, but then we got all our paperwork done, and then all of our selling was legal. Okay, so like Logan explained, our original date was October 17th. We had to push that back just because we were way in over our heads. We didn't have enough money. Everything was just not coming together. We talked to Mrs. Gust. We got her to build have a assignment for her class, and that's how we got all our posters. That's how we reached a lot of people in the school, like, because the internet, we use it to our advantage, but not everybody has a Twitter or a Snapchat, so that's how we reach people who don't have any of those things. And it was also like the students who were in Mrs. Gust's class, they were informed of it, and they kind of liked the idea, and they told their friends, so that's how it also spread over.
And special thanks to Ms. Gus, even though she's not here, for allowing her class to help us make posters, because we were too busy with all the stuff we were doing. So they helped us with the decorations and advertising for us.
And they were all excited. The ones that went, they were all excited to see their artwork
Yeah.
on the walls.
So after all that, after we got Ms. Gust's group Ms. Gus to actually let us take over her class and make our own project for them, we went out, Alondra and I, and bought supplies. So we made a shopping list of sorts to go out to Walmart and get these things that we needed for the dance. And so we were looking for things like decorations, cloth for our photo booth, and food to have at the dance. And after that, we decided to make a plan for where we're going to put things at the dance and what it was ultimately going to look like. And then as soon as that was done, Alondra went ahead and went to Warehouse Design and placed our shirt order. So those will be coming in within the next few weeks.
Here are a few photos of our dance. It was very successful. We were expecting around 30 to 50 people to show up, and 88 people ended up showing up, which was amazing.
And even towards the end, Zeke, the fiesta was completely over. It was about, how late was it?
It was 11:30 when the dance was
He showed
over.
up to the party. Everything was already.
Also, we got some people not signing in, and we had them go back out and sign in and then enter again. But some people did go in without signing in, so we had more, but we're not gonna count those.
And of course, we come to the school-wide learning outcomes. What kind of Lakeland project would it be if we didn't hit these? And so, I mean, communication's obvious. We had to talk not only with teachers, but with students, and kind of organize these things. I know that Emad and I personally got this, we hit the nail right on the head when we had to come to Ms. Gus and, pretty much beg of her to let us, get her group, or get her classes to do some project work for us. And I say begging, but she was very open to the idea, and she allowed us to come in and speak with the group members as they were in the process of making their posters so we could give them feedback. And that was also, it took a lot of critical thinking because we had to come up with an idea of how to get these decorations and the word out. So we not only used Ms. Gus' class for the advertising, but we came up with tweets to send out. I made a poster to hand out in the hallways the day before the dance, get the word out, get everyone pumped about it. And I know that we ran through, I think it was like 100 or 200 posters that we handed out that day, our flyers. and then the work ethic comes in because it's a senior project. It's got to be huge. So we were working our tails off the first trimester of school, and then I'm not gonna lie, we slacked off a little bit towards the middle there. But once it came back around, we picked everything back up. We were full swing coming at this, and it worked out very well. And the written communication part comes in. I mean, it's not a huge part, but we did have to do a write-up of what our idea was.
Yeah, we definitely did not get on track until we started writing things down and making a plan, because our ideas, they were grand and nice, but nothing was actually done until we finally made a plan and wrote everything down.
So looking back on this whole thing, it's safe to say that it was a great success. I know that the student number that attended the dance was way higher than we expected. I remember being asked in my initial interview with Mr. Allball, how many students are you going to consider showing up to this being successful? And I told him honestly, I was like, I don't know how successful it's going to be. I think maybe 30 students will show up. We doubled that number and more. We quite nearly tripled that number. So I mean, personally, I'm very proud of the fact that we had that many Lakers get excited about our project. And it's provided a service to our school community, because that night, who knows what students might have done, There have been underclassmen who have been notorious for getting in trouble and doing the wrong things on nights that they don't have anything to do. So we provided them with a clean and safe environment to just come in and hang out with people that they know and love, and just kind of spread that Lakers spirit. And I really feel like this project has left an incredible and lasting impression on the school, because we proved to them that you don't need to spend tons of money to go out and have fun. You don't need to have a party at your house and go crazy. There's a gym, and there's a whole bunch of easy do-it-yourself projects you can do to just and have people enjoy themselves. And I know that we were asked by Ms. Merkel, or we were told by Ms. Merkel that she might even consider using these ideas for the next semi-formal. So it's going to be something that is going to be seen here at Lakeland for at least the next few years.
A lot of the hassle we had to deal with was all because so we could make everything free for the students that attended the dance. Foods, games, entrance, and everything in between.
Yeah, because we couldn't have done it with all the help that we received. Even the students, they stayed after for an hour and a half, helping us clean up. My uncle, he volunteered to DJ. My mom cooked all the food.
Kids came in early before the dance, 4 hours earlier.
To help set up everything, and they liked it so much. Even the teachers were complimenting us. They said that the DJ system was far more impressive than anything semi-formal has had, or prom. That the decorations are going to try to use them for the ideas for prom, and we're really happy with everything and how many compliments we're receiving.
And Gunnerman, to help us out, he also made the tickets for the basketball games half price, or $2, less than half price,
Yeah.
to encourage kids to come into the game and then hopefully go to our dance after.
And quite a few kids took advantage of the discount price,
Which I'm sure some came to our dance because of that reason too.
So do you guys have any questions for us?
So how much did this actually end up costing you guys, and how much did you raise?
Okay, so with the shirts, each shirt was we sold for $10. They costed $7.80, so about $8.
About $8.
Okay, and then so we ended up buying 72 of those. We sold so far 46 of them. So we ended up raising $92 for that from that. So, but that money also that's just the net gain. We also had plenty more to buy the things that we needed. So, and then the dance itself ended up, when we went to the store and bought all those items, it ended up costing like $120. So we use a lot of our personal money to actually fund all of this stuff.
That's my question, was did it come out of pocket a little bit?
Yeah, not an extensive amount, just enough to make sure that we got what we needed.
And you still have t-shirts left, I think?
Yes, we have to, we sell those.
And so our plan for that is, I came up with the idea to go to the middle school and try and sell some shirts there, because middle schools love t-shirts, and that's an untapped resource. I don't know how many t-shirts are sold there, but and also we want to kind of camp out at the sporting events and sell the excess shirts there too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you've got two more major home basketball games, one of which is the Prairie Heights game, and then could even be sold at baseball, track meet, softball. I mean, you could get rid of those that way as well, I would imagine. Have you tried selling any at lunch?
Yeah, we ran into issues there though. Like first try we only had enough students, and actually all of our group was in A lunch.
And then we had calculus,
Yeah.
and we had medical interventions.
Yeah, we had classes we couldn't miss. And Alondra and I, we sat out of, we would take turns alternating like B lunch and C lunch for 1 or 2 days, but our teacher was like, I can't have you doing that, we're about to hit an important unit, so I need you guys in here. So we had to halt the sales then, but still people came to us by word of mouth to buy shirts. So I mean, it wasn't like a huge failure, but it didn't work out as well as we'd hoped.
And we're also hoping that once we get the shirts, actually, like, if people are actually like seeing them, they'll get
They'll
more
want to buy
excited and start buying some more. I know if somebody tells me about this t-shirt, I'm like, but if it's right there, then I'll be more motivated to buy it.
So your shirts haven't been printed yet?
We placed the order
Okay.
over 2 weeks ago, but
Okay.
since it's screen printing, it takes a little bit longer.
Right. That will probably be an enticement once people see what they look like.
Yeah, it's
Spring is coming, we need
Yeah.
a t-shirt.
the teachers.
So you said that
Yeah,
you,
you said
were gung ho and then you kind of slacked off.
Yeah.
What made you realize you better get started again?
Well,
When we realized the date was coming up.
Okay.
and that we had already had one setback, and we weren't gonna have another opportunity. Prom is coming up soon, and we're not gonna have too many kids motivated to go to 2 different school dances, so.
So how did you come together again to get a jump started?
So like when we started slacking off, it was like right before Christmas break, and actually even towards after Thanksgiving break. So we're just like, okay, we have plenty of time. Let's just do something here and there, and we'll be fine. So we made it through Christmas break without doing anything, and then January rolls around, and we're like, okay, our dance is in 24 days, guys. We need to get it together. So I mean, Alondra and I just kept going and going and going with our ideas and planning, and Eman and Lou came in when they could, but they had their obligations. So it was just like a combination of being excited for it and being scared that we were going to miss out on this last opportunity we had.
Yeah, that's when we started making our shopping list and going shopping and buying everything, and notifying my uncle of the date, and my mom that she was gonna have to cook a lot of food.
How much time did you spend outside of school, other than dance? I mean, I'm focusing back on the planning process again.
We had plenty of time in school to do a lot of planning, but we definitely spent a decent amount of time. I'd say probably close to anywhere from 5 to 10 hours outside of school doing things.
I spent 5 hours every day making decorations, doing the pom-poms and streamers, and even after I get home from work like at 10, I still stay up like 2 hours to make them. I really don't like pom-poms.
Yeah, the woman's touch.
Yeah, the woman's touch. That's what I was gonna say. I don't know the first thing about a pom pom, so I know some paper clip and some tissue.
I probably just bought it.
Pinterest.
The sound system came from your uncle?
My uncle, he
Volunteered to do it for us for free, at no charge. And DJs are extremely expensive, especially if you talk about that kind of quality of DJ.
Yeah.
to fund this at all if it weren't for donating. It's fine.
And so you had security there.
Yeah.
Any issues, no problems?
Nope.
Everybody played well together?
Yeah, there was 1 or 2 things that I saw that might have been an issue, but they stopped as soon as they started. So it was just people throwing like a tennis ball from one end of the gym to the other. But Garrett had that under control.
So, having done this once, what would you do differently if you did this again?
Definitely getting things done ahead of time.
And advertising our shirts a lot
Yeah.
more.
Making sure that the shirt sales were readily available pretty much anywhere. But
You think 4 people was enough
um,
to pull this off successful? I mean, obviously it was successful, but I'm thinking like if that reflective piece, I mean, would you have considered at any point, pulling in maybe another person to help, especially, with a lot of time, a lot of man hours in making decorations and doing things like that?
like a 5th person was something that I wanted to do initially, but I was told that it might not, 4 people might be pushing it, so I was like, okay, well, if it comes down to it, then we can just pick up some extra work. But I definitely think a 5th person would be beneficial, but I mean, even 4 people working, you know, around the clock when they need to, I think that might, like, it's doable with 4 people, easy with 5.
But we did have help from other people,
Yeah.
from friends,
Yeah.
family, that just volunteered their time.
Other girls.
So yeah, taking that into account, a 6th person might be necessary if they were to do this without like.
There was plenty of work to go around.
Yeah, and it was difficult
For the-
because, like, sports but we kind of managed it. I mean, we definitely, like, I focused more on the decorations and setting the things up. Logan did all the paperwork, and then they were really good with the advertising. Like, the whole basketball team came. He made it.
I made sure my soccer team came.
Yeah, for the judges, this is kind of a unique, eclectic group because they started off all together in senior projects for the first, I'm not sure, 25 days, and then EMAD and Logan go into biomedical innovation, which was, they're the 2 classes in one, so they branch away from Lucas and Alondra, who finished the rest of trimester 1 working on that project, and now the trimester ends, and they all go their separate ways, so they had to, you know, start together, go apart, completely go apart, come back together. That made it a very unique project from that standpoint.
What would you all say to juniors who are coming up that are gonna be considering taking senior project class to get their leading edge diploma for next year? What kind of advice would you give them?
Definitely do something big.
Yeah. Go big or go home, definitely.
Don't, what's the way to say this? Like, don't think you have a lot of time, because you don't. Not at all. Especially if you're senior project and BI, because you don't get as many work days. Well, you get a lot of work days, but you think that you can just slack off on those days, but you really can't, because you're gonna end up not having as many senior project work days as you go into your experiments and all your paperwork.
And it's especially easy to think you have a lot of time, especially when you have other tough classes that you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna use this period that I'm not gonna have to worry about this until like 3 weeks from now. Use this
Yeah.
period to work on other classes. And that happened a lot. So I mean, I would definitely say time management is something to practice before you start this. But also going back to the go big or go home thing, definitely do something that you're gonna remember, and definitely do something that the school's gonna remember. Because otherwise, you know, the time you spent doing your senior project, it's almost wasted in a way, because you know you did something that was supposed to be awesome but it was mediocre. And I think that getting students to go and do these bigger projects and take on these you know, tough things is a good way to prepare us for not only college but for life after college. Like when we're in those leadership positions, when we need to take charge and plan giant, you know, maybe fundraising events or giant like engineering projects. So I would definitely say that they need to try and think big, just go big.
Definitely, it's a lot easier to raise money to something and donate it instead of taking memories. Like, everybody, like, okay, we have a class, and then they'll be like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? What did you do? What was your project? And then they look at us and they're like, oh, yours was a fiesta. I remember we had lots of fun. It was just a memory that is more valuable than feeling attached to something.
Our biggest achievement, I think, was when people personally came up to us and told us that this dance they attended was one of the best dances they've been to, like, ever.
Yeah.
And also people tweeted out, it's better than semi-formal, it was very enjoyable, and it made us feel really good about it. Just really grateful for
Yeah.
our experience.
I didn't think I was going to feel that happy. I thought I was just going to, like, I was just so worried people weren't going to have fun, and then I was like, okay, I just want to get this over with. But when people started saying that they had so much fun, it just kind of
It
makes
was
you
a
feel really, really, like, nice inside. Like, you really affected people.
The initial start of the dance, we had a lot of activities for people to do, including food. And so like the actual dance floor was empty. There was like 2 or 3 people on the dance floor, and a lot of the activities were filled with people. And it seemed empty, but there were 80-some people there, but they were all at the activities, playing games, eating food. And once they got their fixation, they went to the dance floor, started dancing, and then started seeing tacky.
Yeah. And the cupcake station brought in a lot of girls.
Yeah, people love the cupcake station. Like Alondra suggested, I'm like, yeah, it might work, but we can do it, yeah, sure.
What did
And,
you tell me about the cupcake station?
okay.
I had my sister, she's amazing at making cakes. So I had her make cupcakes, and then I crushed up some Oreos that had different colored frostings, sprinkles, and little things that you can decorate it with. Well, the girls came in, I remember it was Jordan West, Molly Landers, Alexis Holmes, Allie Rhodes. They were waiting at the door 30 minutes before 9
They
o'clock,
signed in
because they're
before.
like, no, we don't want anybody to take the good stuff. So they waited there until it was 9 o'clock so they could come in and decorate cupcakes.
You talked about pre-sale tickets. I saw it somewhere in your
Mhm.
presentation. You guys didn't have an entry. I mean, there was no fee to get in.
Yeah,
correct?
so
No, we didn't have
yeah,
any.
the original thought was, you know, we want to make this free, and we really wanted to stress that. But there was a point in time where, okay, we're gonna have to sell tickets, and we don't want to do that. But if it comes down to it, then we can just, you know, start pre-selling tickets. And so we knew that would be beneficial to a point because we would know how much stuff to buy and, you know, who was gonna be there. But then it kind of just took away from everybody's welcome kind of thing. And so we decided to abandon that and just use our own money instead, and that's where we had to throw in our own money.
A lot of people love the idea of everything being free.
Yeah.
Free is always better. Always.
That's why a lot of people came.
I mean, who's gonna turn down free food after a basketball game that they just spent watching people eat hot dogs and popcorn instead?
Right.
Any more questions?
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you very much.